Plaintiff Andrea Brunel and her daughter Annette say Annette is married to the defendant's son, and the defendant has a long history of drug abuse. Andrea claims the defendant borrowed her car and was later arrested for having drugs in the vehicle 350 miles away in another state. Andrea is suing because her car was impounded and they were unable to recover it. Defendant Lori Mathis admits she's been addicted to meth and marijuana most of her adult life, but insists she's been clean for the past year and a half. Lori says Annette willingly gave her the car keys and knew she would have the car for the weekend. Lori's countersuing for emotional distress because she claims she was arrested for drugs that belonged to Annette.
Start with you.
I met the defendant, Lori Mathis, at my daughter's wedding, which she married her son, which was October the 31st of 2007. Ms. Mathis has a very long history of drug abuse, criminal activity, in and out of jail most of her adult life. She borrowed a car.
Let me hear from her on the background and allow her to respond to the allegations.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I have been a drug addict most of my adult life. I've been clean the last year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yep. I'm still doing UAs. I did one 2 days ago.
Why? Because you're on probation?
I'm still on probation over the...
How long have you been on probation?
For the last year and a half.
Same amount of time. So it sounds like you were forced to stop.
No, actually, Your Honor, I was in the process of trying to quit before that. This was just a boost for me.
You've been trying to quit all your life, I'm sure.
Sure,
That's what happens. Unless you've gone for help voluntarily, you're not going to quit. And what type of drug were you addicted to?
Methamphetamine and marijuana. All my life, I have dealt with this. And
what have you done to try and stop, other than the court forcing you to by making you take your analysis
I'm now a business owner. I'm a small business owner. I'm a subcontractor. I'm in the process of starting to buy my own home.
But did you ever check in voluntarily to a rehab?
Yes, I've done rehab before, yes.
Voluntarily?
Voluntarily.
Not because the court or probation or parole required?
In fact, the first time was back in 1985.
And what happened? How long were you in rehab?
I was clean for a year and a half to almost 2 years at that time.
Yeah,
I don't use these as excuses, Your Honor. I use them as building blocks. I do the best I can, and I take it one day at a time. I've come a long way.
Good. I'm glad to hear you talking like that. And, stay confident. Your life
I have to. Every day is a struggle.
Yeah. And your life's not going to fix itself overnight. Keep that in mind.
That's right.
It's going to take you some time. So don't get frustrated and resort back to drugs just because your life isn't coming together immediately. And that's because that's what a lot of recovering addicts do. They give themselves a small amount of time, and if everything doesn't work right, if they don't get a job in time, if they have to live with their mother or father under a lot of stress and tension, they just run back to the drugs. So stay strong. Ma'am, go ahead with the car that you're suing her about. What has happened?
Okay, in March of 2007, Miss Mathis borrowed a car from my daughter the title was in my name. She borrowed the car in order to go to an appointment, and a few days later, she was subsequently arrested in Liberal, Kansas. We live in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's approximately 350 miles away while she was driving the car. The original reason for the car being pulled over is because there was a tail light that was broken in it. When they pulled her over for the broken taillight, they ran her driver's license and they found that she had an outstanding warrant for her arrest in Colorado. So they arrested her. The car was...
Your daughter wasn't with her?
No, sir. She went by herself. She borrowed the car to go to an appointment,
in the city,
which was supposed to be in Colorado Springs. A few days later, she was arrested in Liberal, Kansas, driving the vehicle that she was not given permission to go that far away.
So how does she owe for the total value of the vehicle? Didn't you get your car back?
Well, no, sir, I did not. And that's when the car was impounded, they searched the car and she was charged with drug and paraphernalia charges also. She did plead guilty to those charges. She is still, as she's already testified, still on probation for that particular charge. The car was in impound. She then called a few days later and said my boyfriend or her male friend, whoever he was at the time, would be providing her a bus ticket. The bus ticket never matured, and neither did the money for the impound fees or anything like that. The car had not been purchased for that long, so there was no way that I could send my daughter down there or even drive her down there to pick up the car and pay the impound fees. Also, that's a very expensive trip. So On the 20th of April of '07, that car that she borrowed for an appointment was sold at a police auction.
Ma'am?
Your Honor, she willingly gave me the keys,
Who
and it was
did?
for Annette did. It was for the weekend. Okay, I was
To go where?
allowed
To go where?
Excuse me.
Go to do what?
My turn to
To
talk
do
now.
what on the weekend?
She for the weekend.
To do what?
To do whatever it is I needed to do. Okay.
I don't understand.
I
You
had-
said quiet. You said, let me borrow your car for the weekend?
This had not been the first time I borrowed.
No, I'm
a
not
car.
asking you that. I'm asking about this time.
Yes.
You said to her, let me borrow your car for the weekend.
My witness.
Ma'am, no. Just tell me. I don't need
Yes,
your witness.
I asked if I
don't
could
need
borrow it for a
other
couple-
incidents. I need this incident.
For a couple days. Yes.
And did she say for what?
She just said she knew that my car was broke down at the time, that it had been overheating. Okay, this wasn't the first time that I had borrowed her car. I had borrowed her car numerous times before that. Okay,
And did you return it in a timely manner?
Yes, I always had. Yes.
Okay.
My boyfriend had called in Kansas and asked me if I'd come visit. I said, sure, I have the car for the weekend. I went down for one night. The next morning, I got up to leave on Sunday morning. I hadn't drove but a mile, and they pulled me over for the taillight. When they pulled me over, they asked if they could search the car. I said, sure, why not, you know? They found 3 grams of marijuana in the trunk of that car that was not mine. It was Annette's.
Okay.
She admitted that the marijuana was hers. I have a witness.
All right,
who
so
was-
what happened in court? She came to court and she said it was mine. And what happened?
No, she never went to court and said it was
Why
hers.
didn't you have her called as a witness?
Annette?
Yes, the person who said it's my marijuana.
Because at that time I was out on bond.
That's even more of a reason.
For another possession charge.
I know, so that's even more of a
I-
reason
I
to
take-
have someone subpoenaed and say whether it was theirs or not, particularly if she's ready to admit it was hers.
I agree with you there, but at the time I was in possession of the car. I had to accept the possession charge, and I did so willingly.
Okay, good enough.
Okay,
And by that you were admitting negligence in the possession of her car.
The police officers could not even find it. They had to have a dog.
Ma'am,
find
you
it.
admitted. Didn't you just say
Yes,
so
I admitted.
willingly? Isn't
Yeah,
that
I
the way you
willingly
said
admitted.
it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I
so
didn't
then
even
you
know the
willingly
marijuana was
admitted
there.
that you were negligent in driving her car.
I wasn't negligent in driving the car.
Let me explain something to you. When you drive someone's car with drugs in it, that's
I had
negligence.
no idea they were
You
there.
have a duty to drive
I had-
someone's car free of illegal activity.
Your
That's
Honor.
your duty. When you breach that duty, then you have committed negligence. You have a duty to do something correctly. You don't do it correctly.
checked the
There's
trunk of the-
damage that results from you not doing it correctly. You're negligent and you're responsible for the negligence.
I checked the trunk of the car. I did not find it. The cops could not even find it. The dog had to find the marijuana.
No,
You hit it pretty good.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hide it. I didn't hide it. It was Annette's. My witness will testify that she admitted
you
that the
wanna respond to
marijuana was
this?
hers.
Yes, I do, actually. When she was arrested, there was other paraphernalia in the car, and she pleaded down to a marijuana charge because they didn't want her to stay in Kansas because she was belligerent with the police officers there. They didn't want to deal with her. They wanted her to
that's
get sent back
completely
to
untrue.
Colorado.
That's
Excuse me,
completely
I'm
untrue.
talking. You had your turn, right? Okay. So she wrote me a letter when she took my car to Kansas. She wrote me a letter and put it inside of a shirt that he gave to me saying that I'm taking your car to Kansas. Thanks, because I had to get my kid that morning.
She was supposed to pick up her son from my home because he had spent the night the day that she borrowed the vehicle.
Ma'am,
for
did you ever admit to the marijuana being yours?
No.
We offered to get the car out impound, paid for a bus ticket down there, and gas fare for her to get home. We offered it.
Why didn't you?
We did
Why didn't
everything
you?
humanly
Why
possible.
didn't you?
We weren't going to give her money. She was a drug addict too. We were afraid she'd spend the money on
She
drugs.
wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
And you
Sir,
can.
you want to speak?
And I've been clean.
State your
Thank
name.
you.
She's been clean for years.
No, she hasn't.
My name's Dave
lying.
Connor.
What do you want to tell me?
You're
I was
lying.
there when Annette handed Lori the keys. I was also the one she admitted that the marijuana was hers in the trunk.
And what criminal background do
I
you
was
have?
also there the day that Annette and a couple of her friends came over to try to take possessions out of Lori's house. And
Oh, you weren't the one selling her stuff when she was in jail?
I asked her to do that. Him to do that. Not let
Thank
you
you.
take stuff.
So I'm
Ask-
taking stuff, but he's supposed to sell all your stuff.
You were robbing me.
I was robbing you. You stole my car.
I did not steal the
But
car.
I'm
You
robbing
handed
you.
me the keys
But I'm
willingly.
robbing you. And you wrote me a letter, Lori. How could you write something? I'm going to Kansas.
I was
Oh,
wrong to
forgot
take
tell
you to Kansas, and I admitted that.
Hold it, ma'am. Hold it. Now you're admitting that you know you were wrong for taking it to Kansas.
Yes, I admitted that.
No, that's not what you said. No. You said earlier that you had permission to take the car for the weekend to
yes.
do whatever you wanted.
No, I
now
never
you're
said
acknowledging
whatever
that
I
you knew
wanted.
you were wrong.
I never said
Counterclaim for
whatever I wanted.
$5,000 is emotional distress. How do they owe you, or how does the plaintiff owe you for emotional distress?
I spent 116 days in jail for marijuana that wasn't mine. I've been going through hell over this. She tried to rob me while I was in there. I can't even go over and see my own granddaughter that she's had.
Pictures.
Because
This granddaughter that you're holding in her house,
I've been there 3 times. I've seen that granddaughter 3
She's
times.
12 weeks
That's
old.
because you don't come over. You are the one.
I'm in emotional
Yeah.
distress because this is what I've gone through to try and get this settled so I can see my granddaughter. Yes, I admit I was wrong. I took the car to Kansas, but the marijuana was not mine.
So why did you plead guilty to it?
Because my attorney told me to.
Okay, well, you have to sue him for malpractice if you believe he gave you bad advice. Ma'am, you served those days in jail because you admitted to this crime. I can't say that, okay, I'm not going to grant the plaintiff a judgment because even though you admitted it, you didn't really mean it. I have to go with what has occurred on the record. And on the record, you've acknowledged being negligent. You acknowledged it by pleading guilty, and you acknowledged it a few moments ago when you said, I knew I was wrong for taking the car to Kansas. You've acknowledged that you did something with her car that you shouldn't have done, and as a result, any damages that are a direct result of your negligence, you're responsible for. In this case, the damage was the loss of her car due to it being impounded. It was impounded directly as a result of your negligence. So I'm going to grant her $5,000. Ma'am, she is not the cause of you going to jail and suffering emotional distress. You admitted it. You went to jail because you were found or admitted guilt in this case. And therefore, I'm not granting you an emotional distress claim. Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, sir.
She's allowed to see her granddaughter anytime she wants. There's no animosity between me and her. I just wanted her to pay for her mistake.
True.
It's not my fault that she stole my car.
That's right.
It's too bad she can't own up to the fact that she'd been doing drugs all the time, except for when she was pregnant with the kid.
You know, it's really amazing how you keep trying to change everything in your life to everybody else's problem.
Oh, no, I
have
admit
met
my
you-
problems.
My turn.
My
My turn. So
Whatever.
my
Get
turn.
angry with me.
Okay?
It doesn't matter. I'm
so
not gonna
my
let you-
turn, honey.
Oh, honey, you lost your turn a
Okay.
long time ago. I am Brad's mother.
Yes, you are, but you're a horrible woman. You are a horrible
and you're not?
mom. You're a horrible mom.
Whatever.
Your son doesn't even want to talk to you. We have to force him
My
to call
son
you.
does want to talk to me.
Anyway, it's just really sad.
Wow,
that
you guys are
something
going to
so
really act this way to
horrible-
me?
Wow,
Wow,
when you're the
wow.
one that made the mistake and stole my car. I'm
Oh,
acting
so you're
some
going
way
to act
you.
this way with my son
With
over
your
the
son?
car?
Your son's your own
Whatever.
issue. I forced
You
him to call you on
started
Mother's
that.
Day and say Happy Mother's Day to you. He didn't even want to, Lori.